Benchwarmers Podcast. I am Casey Coggins, joined by Alvin Hebert.
Yes, I washed my hands.
And Andrew Lara.
What to do? I'm gonna touch all the mics.
Speaking of washing our hands, that's all of what this podcast is a coronavirus.
It's about washing your hands.
We're going to step by step talk about how you're supposed to wash your hands.
Instructions like back in elementary school where you had to write that paper, how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah. What is it called? Because you had to convince somebody. Why can't I think of the
where they're like reading the paper and they have to do exactly what you said on the paper.
Yeah, I'm spacing. My mind's in a coronavirus zone.
Bleak black
I'm in the zone.
It's quarantine.
But the washing your hands thing, I went to the restroom at work today. Like first thing I get there, because I just drank plenty of water and my breakfast smoothie and all this, and driving an hour and a half. And I'm leaving the restroom and I'm like, well, that's a weird handle. Like I swear it wasn't like this before. They installed handless door handles to where it as a member on my team said, they are a little phallic shaped. Where they
look like dicks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the fucking to jerk them off.
Yeah, you put your wrist in between the handle and the door, and you open it with your wrist.
Oh no thanks.
Yeah, and I'm like, no thanks. I'd rather jerk this thing off than.
What are we in China?
I was like, I look like a retard trying to open this thing.
Like one of them special European stuff, like the European outlets.
I just realized that I said retard. That's not.
That's retarded.
Yeah, that's not PC.
Come
but
on, guys.
I mean, we're gonna probably get into a little worse PC stuff a little later. So, I guess with the coronavirus, what I want to get on the record is kind of like initial thoughts on it. Just this is a sports podcast, so we're gonna get into the sports fallout of this thing, but. We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. It's been kind of in the news since the end of January, I believe. It's been really mishandled across the country, across the world. And now people are finally kind of like, hey, we should probably do certain things to prevent this. Alvin, what? Just give us your 2 cents on what you think about the virus.
Like I really can't make it out. Like, is it something that's not supposed to be this serious, or is it actually serious? Because now, like I said, it's affecting the sports world right now. Like Italy shut down.
Italy's full of a bunch of old people though.
And then there's that thing also. It's like young kids shouldn't even fucking be worried about it. It's like it's really the old folks that really end up with serious conditions of it. And it's like,
and all really like the majority of the people already fucking recovered.
Yeah, right. And then like the numbers, I'm like, are the numbers even real when they come out with the stuff of like the total deaths and stuff like that, or how many people they found like affected of it?
Is anything real anymore?
Like that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, I mean that's something I'll probably mention, but
like the media just blown it up even more.
100%. I feel like they politicized it.
Right.
I don't think they politicized it. I think the politicians politicized it. I think the media reported on something that they felt was a big news story, which it is. It is a big news story. While, I believe the number that I saw today was like out of 800,000 people who were diagnosed in like China or one of the Asian countries that has a lot of people diagnosed with it, 70% have recovered from it, which
confirmed it.
Right, that's what I said. Like he had already done that, but and then it's So you have the media's job is to report something. That's all they're doing. And then the people take what the media says, and then it becomes this bigger story, because it's like, oh, well, this person said this and this person said that. But the media's job is to report these things. And that's what they've done. They said, here's what these people have said. Here's what the World Health Organization has said. Here's what the CDC has said. Here's what the president has said. Here's what the vice president has said. Here's what members of Congress have said. And then the people who listen to that, they take the story and they run with it. The media hasn't done anything to politicize it. They've just said, hey, here's what's going on. And our society has become we can't trust the media and we can't trust the government. We can't trust the experts. Who can we trust?
You can't only trust your eyes.
I still
like,
trust.
have you like seen those like tests where one person would whisper like a secret in somebody's ear,
The telephone game,
and they're supposed to like say
game.
the same thing,
yeah.
But then you realize how like the story changes as it keeps going on.
Yeah,
like,
and that's where I think it's getting overblown a little bit, because like I understand the concerns. Like I don't share those same concerns, but it doesn't mean I don't understand the concerns. Like Andrew's right about the Italy thing. Like they have an older population. They have a smaller.
Same with China
They have a smaller population, so the percentages are going to look more worse. They're going to look inflated when really we're looking at like a 1% maybe. Like it could even be less than a 1% like mortality rate across the world. But to a lot of people, even 0.00001% is more than it should be. Those are the people who are some of those people are the ones that are overblowing things. I think it's just been completely handled. It's been handled wrong on like all accounts. While I like just said the media, they're just reporting the numbers and they're just doing this and all of that stuff. Like I can't really they can't handle anything. It's not on them to handle anything. It's on the organizations and the structure that our country has to handle things. And at local, state, and federal levels, they dropped the ball up until recently. Now that it's become a federal or worldwide pandemic, now you're starting to see people like, oh, now that it's a pandemic, let's do something about it. Where, as I mentioned to April, swine flu, when swine flu hit, became a pandemic. It got overblown, a bunch of money was thrown at it, and then it just became nothing.
Well, you could pull up the last couple years, something like that being blown out of proportion. Like for a couple years, there was the Ebola, and then that whole scare about SARS and everything like that. Yeah,
I mean it's everything that has been like this has been in the news cycles recently, just because that's just how it works. Because it's like, well, this is going on. Like, what can we find to compare it to so that people understand how severe this could be? Because if you just say, this is a sports podcast, let's say this. If you just say Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time, but there's no context, there's nothing to compare it to, the person who doesn't understand why he's the greatest player of all time, they're going to question it. They're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, because even if you go with statistics, if you go with certain things, they're going to be like, well, if you go by championships, Bill Russell should be the greatest player of all time. If you go by points, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar should be the greatest player of all time. If you go by like player efficiency rating, I believe Jordan has the lead there. It might be Wilt, but I'm pretty sure it's Jordan. So you can go down different metrics, but until you actually like start like comparing him, bringing some context into things, and starting to create the layers to the discussion, that's when you start actually letting people understand who have zero idea about the sport. And so for the people who have zero idea about what this virus could mean to the world, you have to compare it to SARS and the bird flu, the swine flu, the elephant flu, the
mad cow disease.
You have to compare it to a lot of those things. So again, that's the media's job, is to bring a give voice to certain things. And in having studied mass communications and journalism and just trying to communicate to the masses, as mass communications leads its hand to defining, you what was I gonna say? I misspoke and repeated myself on the definition, and it just, my train of thought went out the window. You're supposed to have an ethical code that everything that you report is thought to be true of when you found the information. And then now the 24/7 news cycle that we're in, and the Twitter sphere that we're in, we need to be first. And that's what's created that, more than anything, has created the skepticism of the media. But all they're doing is, here's a literal video of such and such politician saying something when asked a question. They're not saying what the person's saying. They're not asking the question either. They're relaying question from somebody, answer from another person. Now you listen to it and think what you think. So Andrew, I didn't let you get into a little deep dive of what your thoughts on the coronavirus were before I started talking about the media.
Man, I got that.
It is what it is at this point.
Man, I'm looking up fucking vacation flights. I don't shit about that goddamn. It's
$30 to go to Cali right now.
Dog. That's too much money. $600 for 2 people round trip. No, thank you. Next.
Where to?
Vegas. It's a weekend in Vegas. Dog. I found a room.
See how much it is to go to Italy.
No, they shut down. You can't even go to Europe.
You can't go to
Europe. Europe is on lockdown.
Yeah,
man.
You can only fly from Europe to the United States if you are a legal resident of the United States.
I thought there's no travel from Europe at all. I thought
no, those are the stipulations. Is you have to be a lawful resident of the United States, or you have to be a U.S. citizen. You have to be an alien who has a child under 21, or you have to be a lawful alien with a sibling, and both are unmarried and both are under 21. There's some weird. There's 4 stipulations on it, but that was what I saw on the graphic.
I don't know, man. I don't believe the hype. I think I've been pretty clear about that. I'm just. This is that next plague. The numbers are gonna look bad, but it's all fucking old people. And I mean, I think they've lived a full life.
Damn, dog.
Especially the Chinese ones, dog. They never die. They're on that fucking Mongolian rice diet, and they just
Fucking live to like 130.
shit, man. And Italians too. Have you ever been yelled at by an old Italian lady?
Nah.
They grumpy.
They come. I can only imagine, I guess.
So I mean, I'm with it. I'm on Team Coronavirus. Team CV.
I
You-
mean,
you and
I've,
Brody,
I've
go
definitely made the jokes, and it's not like I kind of mean it. It's one of those like I kind of mean it, but I'm also like I don't mean it because I'm not that morbid. It's like a cynical view of the world about like just overpopulation.
That's exactly it. It's all fucking...
It's we have too many people, and Earth and whatever you believe in tends to strike down with a vengeance when things get out of hand.
Right.
And we've been talking for years about how like we make movies about aliens coming down and trying to destroy Earth because humans have destroyed it too much and they can't be trusted with the Earth, or they try to kill all humans because of that, or like for decades we've been making movies like that.
Hit the reset button.
So it's like this isn't a new thought. Like people have been creative enough to think the humans are destroying the planet, we must destroy the humans. Like that is not an original thought by me.
Oh, no, because they're all like, we left you this beautiful planet, and then you just destroyed it and overpopulated it.
You're taking all the oil and
You keep fucking.
I thought there was gonna be more to that with you, like
You keep fucking and making kids.
And some of you shouldn't be doing that at all.
At all.
That's who we're coming for, the people who shouldn't have done it. To transition this to what we normally talk about, though, because this is a sports podcast, we do talk sports.
Man, there ain't no sports. They're all sports are canceled.
Sports cancel culture struck again.
Yes. All of sports got hit with the Me Too. Shit's fucking over. They're the one getting fucking Me Too'd by this goddamn disease slash virus, whatever
the minor
it is.
leagues are canceling their seasons.
Damn, dog. Like, it's just crazy. What the fuck is there to watch? What's ESPN going to talk about? Rudy Gobert's feeling better.
Yeah. Update on the teams that
It's gonna be a lot of updates. It's going to be a lot of draft coverage.
Man. We can't even, like...
They're going to cancel the draft.
They're going to cancel, yeah.
Well, no, but I mean, that doesn't mean that they can't.
These college kids, these basketball players have to play all over again now. Well, you're never finished.
So,
Right.
so it's like... That's kind of where this conversation leads, is the fallout of canceling these tournaments, of suspending the NBA season, of delaying the MLB 2 weeks. Everything that has been determined over the last really 24 hours. Like,
and does this mean that the NBA is gonna like cut out these games, or they're stopping, or
So
they gotta come up with a new schedule now?
So
Right. Go straight to the playoffs.
So Mark Cuban said that
Everybody wins.
Mark Cuban said that he wouldn't be surprised if they played into August when they start back up. There's also been talks about them playing 7 or 8 games and then going into a postseason. So instead of the like 15 games that a lot of these teams had left, because I think it was like within 15 to 20 games left for a lot of teams, instead of playing all of them, they just play a few like warm-up games to finish off some of the playoff races, make sure the seating's right, and make sure going into the playoffs all of the teams have their conditioning, have like some games.
Because you also have to like reschedule these fucking arenas.
Possibly.
Like, you got fucking world tours going on and shit like that. Like, this is...
Yeah, so that's
tricky.
That's where like starting back up in, let's say, June and finishing out the season and doing the playoffs.
What better year to start that elimination tournament?
Yeah, I thought so too.
Like, bro, just
But
right?
I think I thought about that on my way home, but the thing that just immediately stuck out was like the Grizzlies and all the hard work that they've done all year. If they don't end up making like the playoffs because they end up having to play in the elimination tournament and then they lose, like how disappointing that would be that something like this strikes and now instead of being 3.5 games up, you're playing a single elimination tournament for your playoff life.
Against fucking Rudy Gobert, and it's just like, I don't even want to fucking guard him, dog. Don't touch me.
Donovan Mitchell too. He was positive.
Get off me, Rudy. Don't touch my ass.
Stop,
Yeah, man, they were
stop
fucking
playing.
kissing in the locker room.
Gross.
What's gross about two men kissing, Alvin?
Damn, nigga, that's
Come on.
homophobic.
Call me what you want to call me, bro.
About to get canceled. You about to hit that coronavirus.
Hey.
Ding.
after me saying retarded earlier and
Dropping chinks. And I didn't drop any, but I said it.
I said it.
I ain't sorry. It's like a
you
Beyonce
said that
song.
you said that before we even started
Sorry, not
recording.
sorry.
You could have gotten away with it.
I ain't sorry.
So yeah, like it logistically, unless this pandemic, it's the term that I'm going to use because that's what it's been called.
What the fuck is a pandemic?
It means a lot of people are getting sick at
Then what's an
a
epidemic?
quick rate. An epidemic?
Yeah.
I don't think an epidemic is anything.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because it was an epidemic before it was a pandemic. Then it's going to be a heterodemic. And then it's just like, fuck, man. Goddamn alphabet police coming back again.
Okay. Epidemic is just in one community.
Oh, pandemic is spread.
Why they just call it a fucking pandemic like last week? This shit been spreading since.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
already been in multiple
That's-
countries.
You know what's the crazy thing is how much, like, this shit hasn't even started yet.
Mm-mm.
They're just getting tested for it now.
Yeah.
This shit's about to get hit with a wave.
Yeah,
like
that's-
like New York, they declared like a state of emergency because of the fucking the numbers doubled in a day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they was talking
same
about
thing with
getting
It went from
California.
10 to 20. Well, California is. I mean, we could do without it.
Hey, get off my state, bro.
Oh no, we're losing so many homeless and drug addicts.
You can say that about New York too.
Yeah.
I'm praying.
Oh, does it affect the rats too?
What are they gonna do without Skid Row? Oh no, property value goes up. What's that?
It's just my house now.
Bitch, this is my road.
I skidded right into this bitch.
The shit street's right there.
Better back the fuck up before I cough on you.
Damn, the ozone layer's about to get fucked again with all the burning bodies. Hey,
I'm not gonna even be able to.
There you go.
I'm not gonna be able to
that's,
post
that's
this
a good one.
episode. Not even gonna be able to post this episode.
I'll squirt some gas on it. I don't give a shit.
This is why I was scared to even do a coronavirus topic.
Will was already on the group chat talking about like he's gonna have a field day with this one.
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh,
I know.
shit.
Just wait until we get into our conspiracy corner.
Oh, shit.
Man, I don't even know where to start. There's so much.
Let it
But
all
let's get back to the NBA. And,
Goddamn lizard people.
and so, like you said about concerts and stuff, you push back and you push it back and you go into July. I saw somebody tweeted out like Scotiabank Arena in Toronto is booked all like certain weekends of July. Staples is booked. Like,
Well, they
there's-
canceled South by Southwest.
But there ain't no reason it's in Austin. I'm gonna give a shit about Austin.
well, we're talking about the NBA, not South by. We're not.
Talking about Katy Perry, dog.
We're talking about
How am I gonna see the Jonas Brothers when
We're
fucking playing a
talking
basketball
about-
game in the middle of it?
pushing back the NBA schedule and like what logistically works to finish this NBA season.
They gotta fucking reschedule Lizzo in Houston
because
that bitch's the big bitch right there.
Like I think with the just canceling this NBA season, like isn't a big deal in my eyes.
I'm cool with canceling it. I don't give a
And
shit.
because it's like
I'm not even in it.
right. That's kind of the
Cancel
point
it.
is,
Your
it's
streak
like
on
there's
end.
been the 2 lockouts where like
So you can put your hands on your hips and be like, I wish you would,
Yeah,
bitch.
those, like the 2 lockout seasons are like, well, those are bullshit. Like, do those titles really even count?
They got asterisks just like the Astros.
Yep. And so the thing to me about that is you are, for all what we've seen this season and how great some of these teams have played and some of these players have played, canceling the season means that LeBron doesn't get a chance to go for his 4th title and his first with LA and see how good this Lakers team actually is. Kawhi doesn't get to try to get his 3rd with a 3rd different team. Giannis doesn't try to get his 1st and like really put a stamp on his legacy.
Well, it kills the LeBron James MVP run.
It does do that. Which that's kind of what we were probably going to talk about
Womp.
today if it wasn't about for the virus shutting everything down. We probably would have discussed that a little bit, because I think like it really kind of depends on how the season plays out, like the rest of the season would have played out.
Yeah.
Because the Lakers are only a game behind the Bucks record wise, and LeBron leads the league in assists. And while Giannis has been so great and only had to play 30 minutes, it could be said that he has a much better team. He also plays in the weaker conference. And LeBron, when he's on the court compared to when he's off the court, it's night and day with the Lakers. So like there were cases to be made. So had he continued at that pace, Giannis missed more time and the Lakers end up taking the lead, he could have won his another MVP. And I think like all the storylines that we're going to end up missing out if we do end up canceling the season.
Mm-hmm.
But we're only going to have one storyline coming out of this season no matter what. Like I'm just like those storylines are pretty much are out the window now unless everything gets squashed in the next 5 days, which isn't happening. Like we just talked, we brought up earlier, Adam Silver said like this is a 30-day hiatus. They're gone for 30 days. It's a month. That'll be...
Dog, think about all the fucking ads. Think about the TV stations. Like, what happens to the ad money? Well, they have the contract, so that doesn't even affect anything.
Yeah.
But, like, this is fucking crunch time for them. Dog, March Madness?
Yeah.
Vegas is hurting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Vegas.
The only thing that's going on right now is PGA. They're still playing all the golf tournaments.
They ain't gotta walk with nobody but a fucking caddy.
Yeah, and it's
Don't
just,
cough on me, Gary.
It's just no fans.
They're gonna love that because you gotta be quiet anyways when they gotta shoot. So
what the fuck?
So yeah, they like listening to Bill Simmons talk about that on his podcast. He made the joke about somebody's going to go out and like a bunch of people are just going to go out and shoot 59s and they're like best score ever because they don't have to feel like the tension of the fans.
yeah,
and,
don't gotta worry about it.
Yeah. Easy peasy.
So it's like
It's like going out for practice swings.
like in the first round of the players, the leader was at -9. So he shot a 61, something like that.
You're just gonna see ridiculous numbers right now.
Yeah. I'm sure the scores are going to be super low. So all the sports are canceled. We said that. We talked about the NBA. I want to talk about Major League Baseball. We might talk about football, but I don't think football is really in the crosshairs right now because it's just the combine's already happened. It's just going to be drafting players in free agency and training camp.
And I think that they only pushed back their like CBA meeting or something like that.
Yeah. So
Dak Prescott's about to get a fucking franchise tag. That's for sure.
Better.
I mean,
That's a lot.
don't. It's 30.
That's 31. Yeah.
Less than 40 when he's asking.
Yeah, and it's only 1 year, and then they can be like, they can draft a quarterback. Franchise
Big on,
member.
bitch.
Yeah,
What's that white boy from Clemson?
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah, except you won't have a chance to get him unless Dak doesn't play well at all, and then,
Or if he doesn't show up. He doesn't have to sign that tender.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So Major League Baseball has delayed the start of the season 2 weeks. It was opening day was March 26th. So that's 14 days from now. Do you even think that they're going to be able to start 2 weeks later? So to get the exact day,
They're just going to
it'd
like,
be April 9th that they'd be starting up.
they're just going to just stay overseeing the situation, see if it progresses or if it starts to die down and whatever, and make the call from there.
But in 2 weeks, do you see this situation allowing them to 2 weeks later? Like, do you see this situation easing up to the point where they can start the season April 9th?
Fuck no, I'm telling you, it's
No.
gonna get a lot worse before it
Yeah.
gets any better.
Right. That's
So when I say worse, I mean a lot more people gonna get it.
so. This it almost leads to the baseball needs to shorten their schedule. Thought, my rant, my idea. That 162 games is just ridiculous. That's just way too high of a number. You're not going to keep fans interested enough. I was going to say intrigued, but I kept wanting to say interested,
You got it.
and so I was going to say intricated. So I was definitely gonna flub that word, and I just started stuttering. It's almost like the MLB is going to end up. Let's say they start first week of June. Is that about how soon you think that this thing's going to be able to blow over? Because that's 2.5 months.
Well, they're saying this shit's gonna last for like the next 8 months.
Possibly, yeah.
Especially like we don't even know like how close they are like to a cure or something.
Not at
like
all.
that,
They
some
just
type of
fucking found
remedy.
it.
They just barely like starting that up. You know what I mean? Like, how long is that going to take to actually get something concrete?
So the thing with the cure is they needed to find the strain that they needed to isolate to manipulate the flu vaccine that they already have been using. So I don't think that,
Or are they using the flu vaccine?
because this is essentially kind of a flu thing, but the flu vaccine, what they do is it's a guess. The flu vaccine is a complete
Yeah,
guess.
just because you get the flu shot doesn't mean you're not gonna get the flu.
Right. So it's
definitely.
but it's the
Ain't that some bullshit too?
They
Like
give
what
you
the fuck?
virus.
Get your flu shot. Get your flu shot.
They're
Come out
giving
a month later. Oh wait, we got the wrong strain. That flu shot
They're putting
could kill you.
they're putting the strain in you, so your immune system can
Yeah.
build up against.
Yeah,
it.
man, it's an antibody.
Yeah.
I watched Magic School Bus too.
Yeah, it did. It's great, right?
So I think I think the time frames are kind of, I don't even think the experts really know. Like, as much as I want to trust the experts, and
What do you trust?
I
You
do
trust your eyes.
I do trust the experts. I think they're playing it safe with those, like, the estimates. From what I've seen and how technology in medicine has evolved over the last 20 years, things go really quick. They say, "Oh, we need this," bam, it's done. Like, just blink your eye, and they've already funded it. It's already been tested and approved and shipped off. So yeah, I think that, 8-9 months wouldn't shock me. but neither would 2. Definitely 2 weeks is definitely out of the question. But I think, with all of this, with, all of the sports and concerts and like Live Nation they just said, we're not sending artists out on tour.
Mm-hmm.
Their stock yesterday dropped $1.8 billion.
Shit.
Because of this. That's the scary part of this whole thing is, while we're doing our best to stay safe, to not get sick, to not
to wash your hands,
to not like infect other people, the working from home, the closing up shop, the canceling things, it's impacting the economy in a way that hasn't been seen since the 80s. I saw a number that the Dow dropped as like more than it had since like 1987.
It's probably going to be as bad like when Wall Street crashed or something like that.
So it's
you talking about the stock market crashing?
Yeah. Like
I don't know about
like
that.
I don't know.
I'm saying it's probably
we're not
like
going
that same level. Like
nah.
No.
I
mean, so far,
when the stock market crashed, nobody knew what to do. It was the first time it was ever going to happen. So everybody it's kind of like this where people just panic about it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh no. But I mean, if you zoom out, the stock market just keeps going. It's going to go up. It's going to have little divots here and there where it drops, but it's going to keep going.
So
don't sell.
What
it's buying season.
What I did see is that all of the gains that had happened over the last 4 years or 3.5 years since Trump took office.
He's trying to bait me into conspiracy talk right now.
all of his gains are now wiped away, and the stock market is back at when he was inaugurated. So it's essentially the world just said, fuck this, reset.
Straight up.
they were down 27-0 in the first quarter, so they fucking quit the game.
Rage quit.
Threw the controller against the wall, said, fuck you, and walked out.
This shit. The fucking mechanics. Fucking whack.
So I just want to get some solidified takes. NBA season canceled, or are they gonna pick back up?
I think it's gonna get picked back up, but they're gonna do that whole empty arena thing.
Nah.
So to elaborate on that, you think that they're going to do this 30-day hiatus, let all of the teams quarantine themselves, and then after the 30 days, they're going to do a retest of everybody and then start back up?
Yeah.
Andrew?
No.
Cancel the season?
No, they're not going to cancel it, but they're not going to play without fans.
I mean, they're already...
I could see them canceling it.
No, they
talked about it.
The Warriors,
it's San Francisco. It's virtue signaling.
The Warriors.
We pledged to be good.
No, the Warriors were going to do that because they're like local and state officials said, no, you can't have fans. Like, you can't do that.
And also, Steph Curry got sick,
but also they were the first team to get knocked out of playoff contention.
But the night before they were going to play a game without fans, Gobert goes and gets sick. Well, I guess he got sick earlier than that, but this all happens like before they even have to resort to that.
And leave it to that dumb motherfucker to like spread it worldwide and shit.
Worldwide? He's not.
Oh, come on, man! You gotta tell me like
that ain't Pitbull.
Hands touching and all that stuff from when he was like all up on the mic.
Yeah, that was fucking great.
Just think about like how far that shit spread after that.
He is not patient zero. He is not. He is not the first one to get it. He's not the one that spread it worldwide. He spread it to Donovan Mitchell and possibly others, but that hasn't been confirmed yet.
Somebody was talking about he practically infected 3 people per arena or some shit like that.
Oh, if you just went off of the numbers. I mean, the best joke of the day was that he won Defensive Player of the Year, but
Yeah, I saw that.
He shut down the whole league.
Shut it down.
Okay, so, Andrew, you said you think they are going to start back up at some point to finish up this season,
Nah, man, I see him canceling it.
canceling it.
It's gonna be a long. It's gonna be a lot. We got a long road ahead of us.
It's gonna be a long summer, boys.
So, yeah, that's because this is speculation, because it's almost like saying, do we see them finding like getting everybody cured enough, or like stopping the spread and essentially wiping out the coronavirus pandemic in the next month and a half.
That's
like,
too early.
So you're talking about the whole world,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if the NBA is going to be concerned if it's still in China, because they're but I guess because if China can't send anybody to the States to go to a basketball game, then it's not going to impact them. Like no reporters, no fans, none of that. So there's if it gets stomped out in the United States, Mexico, and Canada, then I could see them. But likelihood is it's not happening. This season's done. We saw Vince Carter play his last game.
Fucking whack way to end it, bro.
It's the only way he could quit.
The only way to get him to quit.
I saw the video of him checking back in, and like the Atlanta Hawks players are like trying to get the fans in it. There's like 15 fans in the entire arena. Like they were down like 30.
Man, I was watching highlights of PSG versus oh man, what's that Bundesliga team? I forgot.
Bayern or
no, Dartmouth or something like. Oh man, what the fuck?
Dortmund.
Dortmund. There you go. And they had nobody in the arena, but they still played.
Right. Yeah, that's
And then, like,
the Valencia and Atalantia they played. And that was weird because like they're doing the whole they score a goal and they go to the corner and they celebrate, and it's like
Yeah.
no,
and then like
no,
PSG, they were like all in like in the stands and
You
stuff.
can-
Like when they were scoring, they were like, yeah.
you can hear the people on the sideline like,
Woo!
yeah, there you go. Like,
Yeah.
oh man,
And it was funny because PSG was still clowning on Dortmund, like doing their like celebrations and stuff. I
Yeah,
was just like,
yeah. So NBA, we have 2 cancels and 1 start back up with no fans. Major League Baseball, do they start before June?
no.
Nah,
Do
it's gonna be
they
too hot.
too hot? That's their whole sport
I know.
is playing too hot.
You don't want to start when it's too hot.
Okay.
That's why it's spring training. All right, cool. We're gonna ease our way into this. It's gonna gradually get hotter as we get hotter.
Get your body accumulated
Yeah.
to the heat.
So if you don't see them starting by June, do you see them starting? What if you were Rob Manfred? 1, you would be bad at your job, and 2, what would you say happens? Like, how would you make it work? Would you cancel the entire season and just because would you shorten it to a like 75 game season from July to whatever?
I was just thinking that they're probably going to start up in July and like do it a half season.
Okay, do complete half, so
Yeah.
81 games from July to October.
Because I was all like, if anything later than that, I'm all thinking in my head, I'm like, fucking then October is just going to be like right around
Yeah.
the fucking corner. Like, what the hell?
That's what I'm saying. What happens to all these contracts? What happened to all the basketball contracts if they cancel the season?
Right? Because it goes by games that you play.
I think
Does it?
I think they would still like do a
Well, I mean,
do
because
a,
you get
a-
your guaranteed with them, like your paycheck. is, like,
it
based
depends. I think it depends on how the contract's set up.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if the guys who are on the like main 15-man roster or like the ones who have contracts with the actual team aren't getting their normal pay.
Yeah, because like, well, with basketball, like the players that like sign like those day contracts, like those are like based off the games that you play. So it's like,
Yeah.
what's going to happen with those kind of contracts,
Well,
Or
Joakim
even-
Noah's not going to get any money.
right? Sorry, you only signed 10 days.
Damn. Yeah. Fuck.
He ain't had a fully guaranteed contract.
But yeah, so like I've always been kind of curious. Like, do they get paychecks the same way we get paychecks, where it's like every 2 weeks, here's $250,000, or is
I'd like this in 20s, please.
I'm going to Miami. I need them all in dollars. Just
All in
Just
dollars.
singles.
yeah. Can you get me $100,000 in singles, please? I'm playing in Atlanta. Can I get a cash advance?
Just give you a suitcase of ones.
You go to the fucking check, the cash check. Look, 20s, please. Sir, you know we take 1%, right? It's okay.
Oh man.
They fucking see how much the check is. Like, are you serious? This in 20s?
Sir, there's a bank right here. You can just. Yes, ma'am.
Andrew, your MLB thought.
MLB thought. I don't even know. Like, we've never seen this before. I can't make a guess because they're pushing it back.
This is all speculation.
Yeah, how can you even speculate on anything on something that's never happened? You've never seen this.
I have a speculation, but
that's like it's different because it hasn't even started.
yeah. It's
You're at 0.
yeah.
It's not like the NBA where it's like, well, fuck, we're like almost towards the end. What do we do?
Same with
Yeah.
hockey. Like
Nobody cares about hockey.
I
I don't know why they canceled hockey.
I-
Bacteria, this
I-
shit doesn't live on ice.
I made the joke earlier that since it's all like Russians in hockey, they're not going to get it because of all the like extra strength vodka they drink.
Yeah, see, like, nobody gives a shit. Hockey's fine.
The vodka kills the virus.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vodka on the ice is cool, man. I don't know because they haven't started.
So could you see them just being like, "Hey, like we just have to start back up next year"?
Because on top of that, like even if they play games with no fans, like you're asking players to like stay in hotel rooms by themselves and not make contact with anybody.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Very carefully.
You can't fucking do that for so many players on so many teams. I'm looking at this poster like, fuck, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, especially right up in that northeastern area.
Yeah, 100%. No one gives a shit about California. But in Seattle, man, the Mariners might as well be fucking dead.
Hey,
They're
out, bro.
hella infected.
chill out, take it easy.
Damn.
Just killing off my
So-
team like that.
Oh, they killed himself off like that just being there.
so
Just being there.
so it sounds like you're more in the camp that's like
It's done.
logistically.
We're gonna watch.
It's
Just gonna
it's just gonna
Call it a day.
So, my question to you, kind of about the contract thing, not about the pay necessarily, but if you're a 34-year-old pitcher who just signed a 1-year deal to be a relief, like to be a spot starter, mid reliever for the Brewers, and you don't get to play this year, so you don't get to show like other teams that you still have something in the tank, and now next year, like, are you still on that 1-year deal, or do you have to?
Does it void it?
Do you have to sign another deal? And then now that you're a year older and you haven't pitched in 2 years,
I don't know. I feel like if you're under contract, like
I mean, Dennis
they
Quaid
should-
did it. He was like a fucking high school teacher. He was a high school coach, and he fucking made it.
he did.
what is
So can Cliff Lee.
Henry Rottenauer or whatever it is from Rookie of the Year, the little kid pitcher for the Cubs movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. Like, I mean, granted, at the same time, you're old. You old.
Yeah.
You can't just. This
Yeah.
isn't. It's not going to be fair for
Hey,
everybody,
maybe-
and I mean that's fucking life.
Maybe give Clayton Kershaw a full year off to not have to go through all of his back injuries and his hip injuries and his
Just come
arm
back the
injuries
next
and-
year all like fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking like Clayton Kershaw from like 2015.
Until he hits the playoffs, and then
Until
he's Clayton Kershaw from 2015.
I always gotta bring it up. Always gotta let y'all know.
So my thought is baseball, I think we all know, is struggling in the popularity aspect. And
See, like that one, baseball is easier to reschedule.
it's
Nobody's fucking going to baseball arenas for goddamn Jonas Brothers.
well they do play
What's up
like,
with you and the Jonas Brothers?
like
man?
Pearl Jam's coming out with an album, and they might do like an all baseball field thing because they play at Wrigley, they play at Fenway.
Man, I heard NSYNC in the Backstreet Boys.
Well, they
was
can fucking
doing a
even
duo
flow the
concert.
fuck out of the way.
Duo
just
tour.
minus Timberlake because he
He didn't sign up for that.
He's
Yeah.
doing Trolls too.
So it's like baseball, like as sad as it is to say, could capitalize on this. Like they could,
they're going to be the only sport playing.
like they,
Think about it.
yeah, they could be the only sport going. They could, with no fans in the stadium, they can actually, and like people possibly working from home for the foreseeable future, those TV ratings might be higher,
Yeah.
might inflate a little bit to where they can actually be like, hey, look, people actually want to watch us. They just have to find time to watch us. Because like on a Wednesday at noon, who the fuck is watching Reds Twins? Like,
Yeah, when the
You?
start of the season,
I don't count in this. I'm the
Oh,
outlier.
that's Casey all day.
he's all it's not the Reds, it's the Cubs though. Get it?
No, it's hey,
June 22nd.
baseball's on. What is
You guys see that pitch? It was crazy.
what's today? May 24th.
Casey is 3:30.
It is Thursday at 2:15. We are working. Well, not you because you're off Thursdays.
I would be like, yes, I just watched it. Yes.
Not you.
So, but so if it's reasonable enough for them to push their start back, I could see baseball starting up mid-May. Give it a full 2 months of, tests, trying to come up with the vaccine to use. Let everybody like self-quarantine. Hopefully let things, the contagious side of this subside, because it is only contagious for so many days. You have the incubation period, and then you have the contagious period and all of that. Let all of that kind of hopefully pass, and I could see them being able to start May 15th-ish and playing out the season then. And just play in front of no fans until they get word that everything's all good and they can start allowing fans again. I just, as my cynical self is, capitalize on this if you're baseball as much as possible. Like, don't actually come out and say, you know what, we're going to capitalize on nobody else playing. We're going to be the only professional sport going. But just say, like, our players love playing. Like, we want to put on the season. We've worked hard to get this season to where we want it to be. And while we are disappointed that we can't have fans in, we want to at least let the players play, because this is what they do for a living. And like the reporters, that's what they do for a living. And the coaches, the trainers, all of the people associated with getting a game going, umpires, like this is what these people do for a living. And without playing, they're not doing their job. So that's my speculative take on Major League Baseball. Before we get out of here, is there anything else we wanted to touch on with this thing. Is there anything else in the sports world that we want to touch on in this thing? Do we want to speculate how, if baseball doesn't happen, now esports is going to become the most popular professional sport? And
That shit's getting canceled too.
is it really?
No, well, I heard for League of Legends, they're not going to have any fans in the arena for right now.
But they can at least still
You could
play the
literally like
games.
play from your house.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can just
Not really.
you could Twitch
I
stream
mean, it's not going to be like perfect, like going
You
to the
still gotta
arena.
be in your same fucking war room together.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now they got the game houses or the offices now
Yeah.
that they built up.
Yeah.
So yeah, they can make it work.
So it's crazy times. I tweeted out last night. It's like
Yo,
I know that
you
it's
should
been
get on that.
it's going.
Get on what?
Start doing like streaming video games and stuff. That's just going to skyrocket, bro. Get all the views.
All of it.
Yeah, so I tweeted last night that like this has been going on. It's been in the news cycle. It's been all of this. But last night's the night that I'm gonna remember. Like
The night the NBA got Me Too'd.
exactly. That's probably how I'll remember it. Because when you think Me Too, you think cancel culture.
Mm-hmm. This is the only way the world was supposed to end. Cancel culture canceled the world.
I think that's a great way to cancel out the rest of this podcast.
Yeah,
There you go.
100%.
So I'm
Thanks, Obama.
Barry.
This was it. When you say Barry, do you mean Barack? Oh man, they call him Barry. I swear I've seen it.
I was all like, yes, he is.
I was like, I know this. I've heard that before. It ain't something new.
So I'm Casey Coggins, joined as always by Alvin Hebert
We call Barack Berry.
and Andrew Lara.
Yes, very good.
No, we do not.
Different kind.